Hello everyone. I've decided to try and make this video a little more streamlined and quicker. When we left off, I'd kind of shared a lot of my strategy for the early Prussia game. I wanted to give a little bit of a background and a detailed overview of my beginning ideas and why I think they're valuable, while we wait for the next 5 or 6 years to pass, because we're not going to be able to do anything because our aggressive expansion is pretty high, and we need to basically just improve Pomerania's relationship so that we can annex them and then move into Livonian order before Denmark kills them in 10 years. So anyway, I'm going to just kind of push play and let things go. But the reason I start with innovative first is not because it's the best idea. I start with it because, I'm going to pause that because it bothers me. Yeah, we'll listen to the people. I don't need manpower. The reason why innovative is good is not because of necessarily the group itself, although the group itself is kind of middle of the road, I would say. Brandenburg is very low economic. It's got a strong military eventually, not in the beginning, but money-wise, it is pretty low. And monarch points are, well, they're at a premium in this game. One of the best ways to get more monarch points if you don't have a good monarch is, one of which is to have your power projection really high. The second is through advisors who can get all the way up to level 5. Now, a level 5 advisor, if you've ever played up that far, is ridiculously expensive. Being able to get 5 monarch points every single month for basically 75% of the cost of a regular one is, well, it's pretty spectacular. In addition to that, I plan to get influence, which will in addition reduce advisor costs by 10%. Down the road, eventually I'll get diplomatic ideas too, which is advisor cost minus 10%, but that's a little ways off. In the beginning, obviously, prestige decay, who cares? Innovativeness gain, that's nice. The big one is technology cost. Getting this first, you can get to this point pretty quickly, and that is, I found, huge. You're always researching and getting more tech, and that will just add up in the long run. War exhaustion, obviously, is a big thing. Leaders without upkeep, that's nice, especially late game for Prussia. But here's the thing, just the amount of monarch points you're going to save on technology right off the bat. Being able to have more skilled advisors earlier and quicker, that's going to give you more monarch points. It's going to lead to more development, faster tech, more innovativeness. It gives a nice balance where you're getting a little bit of an economic boost. You're getting a couple of military groups have helped a little bit of, some of your military is being helped a little bit, but also the technology cost is a huge thing. And it has some of the best combinations for all of your ideas, especially for Prussia. If we look at offensive, what do you get? You get leader, siege, and siege ability. That is huge. The first person that takes down forts usually win. The faster you can do that, the better. Quality. Everyone knows about this one. Infantry combat ability. Maybe you don't care about that. I think it's fantastic. I usually get economic eventually as well. That's +5 discipline. Combined with qualities, combined with that discipline there. This is maximum quality for your troops. Innovative is a necessity for that, and getting it first, you're not as powerful as you might be if you got something else, but it's like the long game. You're playing the long game. You just ramp up with that. So I get innovative first. The reason why I get influence next, almost always, is not just because of the advisor costs and the aggressive expansion impact, although that's excellent. It's because it is so helpful to have, expanding in the Holy Roman Empire is very difficult. Not necessarily it's just hard to kill people, but the aggressive expansion is massive. Like, I could not conquer Saxony by itself without getting a huge coalition, like a huge aggressive expansion hit. Vassalizing would mean the aggressive expansion hit is lower, just by virtue of like the war type. Annexing versus vassalizing, you get less aggressive expansion. In addition to that, if I was Saxony, I could feed them, provinces to a certain extent. Probably this one, probably Würzburg. If I can get at Nuremberg, and then I'd have given them 3 states, they'd be a nice big, and then I could annex them, and they would have spent all the administrative points to core that, and then I would annex them and get no, the autonomy. There'd be no revolts. It's just a really good situation. Influence is excellent for keeping liberty desire low. Like liberty desire low. Income from vassals, that's huge. Economically, like Brandenburg is pretty damn poor. The more money you get, great. This right here, diplomatic annexation cost. This is basically, to me, like if you use vassals to expand, this is basically like the core creation cost for here. If for the most of the game in like the first 150 years, I'm just expanding with vassals in the Holy Roman Empire, I'm saving tons of administrative power, and I'm teching up my administrative technology quickly, and that's what's giving me all of my idea groups. So the faster I get those, the faster this goes up, the better. This should always be number 1 for me. Having that vassal swarm will offset my military being a little bit lower, but especially with innovative being the first one and influence being the second one, I mean, my military technology, I'm not going to be spending military power on anything except occasional development and military tech, so that's always going to be at the forefront. That's why I tend to prioritize diplomatic and administrative power, because my military power, while starting off on the low side, eventually is the one that I have the most in. And then obviously diplomatic relations, that speaks for itself. Diplomatic influence, like reputation, that's excellent. Envoy travel time, who cares? Vassal force limit contribution. I don't know if this really does much, because vassals tend to make a lot less units than they can normally. I don't know if this it's usually tied to their money situation, not their force limit contribution, but I don't know. Unjustified demands, this just makes it a lot easier. Like if I attacked the Teutonic Order and Livonian Order joined in and I wanted to vassalize them, the war score cost for that would be really high. It'd be a lot higher than if I just attacked them individually. This allows me to potentially vassalize them, or basically get more bang for my buck in the countries that are not the primary target. So this is just excellent. And then I get quality, but that's not the big thing. The big thing with this is the economic, or the innovative idea, which we already went over. I eventually am going to get, offensive, probably economic, maybe humanist, but probably economic, depending on where things are going, because I love that development cost reduction. I like to play tall and blobby. But what does this give? It gives offensive diplomatic relations, reinforce cost. That's a huge economic thing. Defensive, I'm not too worried about that. I do like diplomatic relations and reputation for the humanist, but I'm probably not going to get that. The big thing I'm going to get with this one is just tied to the innovative. But so that I get innovative first, influence next, and then it really kind of depends on how the game's going. If I've got several vassals, and I want to focus more on development, I might just skip military altogether, just let my technology go up a lot, and just go straight for economic. Again, this is why I need lots of administrative, and that's what I focus on for years. Taxes, buildings, inflation reduction. That is huge right there. You'll never have to worry about inflation. Autonomy change, land maintenance. It's just everything's just tied to money there. It's just great. And then development. This is the huge thing right here. this, if I did get quantity, then I add the thing from the burgers, where the burgers would give me 10% off development cost. If I do that policy, you know, encourage development, that's 10%. If this right here, prosperity, gets to max, that's another 10%. And we're looking at, like, you know, 50 minimum to a development cost reduction, and that is huge. And if you just kind of vassalize, annex, and just expand that way, man, you save so much military power. And if you wait to mass develop your provinces till a little bit later, you'll have so much military power because your power projection will be high, your advisors are going to be high, your technology is going to be maxed out, and you're going to have all this extra, you know, you're going to get this huge spike mid-game where you're just going to develop and develop so much of your provinces. Your power might go up 30 to 50% just from development in your core provinces. It's just insane. You can even help, like some people think this is dumb, but if you've got a march you're going to keep around for a long time, like I never want to vassalize Livonian Order personally. I like to see them become Kurland and just keep them as a buffer zone up here while I expand into Poland and expand down here. And up here I just like them to be a little buffer state. And if I get big enough, I can keep them as a march and just develop their provinces like you know, 5 across the board. Not that's huge, you know. Things like Riga or some of the more valuable provinces, I might do 10. But I mean, yeah, like just you develop them enough, and then they are a powerhouse. Got lots of money, lots of manpower, and that just helps you win wars. So that's kind of the basic strategy I start with, and then so it's either like economic or quality for like third. And I used to go economic and quantity, but what I found was that I couldn't, developing that early just put me back, and down the road I just don't need that much manpower. Like the more you annex, the more you get, like manpower eventually doesn't become a big issue. You just want I would rather have 100,000 troops that are unkillable than 150,000 that are, you know, it's just, once you get to the big numbers, you'd rather have, and that's replete throughout history, like quality usually beats quantity. Smaller, more disciplined armies beat larger mobbed ones. I don't know, this isn't exactly historical, but I mean, every single aspect of your army gets better. You know, the ships, who cares? But I'm taking out Denmark and I need better ships. I need that. I mean, that's pretty early. The discipline across the board helps, and your army just becomes unkillable after this. So, and it's also more balanced. I like economic, but if I've got vassals, I'm getting that income. Innovative, influence, quality. First three ideas, one of each. Your tech's balanced. That allows my administrative to keep pumping up. Fourth idea, if I'm really worried about the war, if I'm really worried about the religious war, it depends on who my allies are, but I might I'd get defensive or offensive second. If I'm not worried about it, like if the Ottomans join my side really early, and I'm not really worried about winning it militarily, like especially if Russia's formed and the Ottomans and the Russians are both on my side, something like that, or France joins my side. It's like Spain, England, and Poland are the big ones that are against me, even Denmark. And those are the four big ones, and I have France and the Ottomans. I don't care. France can handle everybody on that side, and the Ottomans just run through everyone else. So that just kind of depends. But that's the beginning. That's the beginning strategy for that. I don't know. There's a way to, yeah, so right now this is kind of my diplomatic thing. Like in probably a few years I'm going to try to be vassalizing Pomerania. I'll look at this video where I'll just start playing. or do that this video or the next one. But once they're vassalized, I'm going to make a claim on Livonian Order, vassalize them, and then wait, then vassalize the Teutonic Order, and those are going to be the big aggressive expansion in like things in the next 10 to 15 years. 2 large vassals, all the land I will need. If Poland's still my ally and Denmark's a rival, they'll help me to like take these last 3, get that. And I'll have all of my Prussian lands to form Prussia later, and then after that I can either keep Poland as an ally and just keep pushing into Denmark and using them to take out the Bohemia and the rest of Germany, or I can just dissolve my alliance and do something else. But yeah, no, like I don't know how long this is going, but this is after 9 years. Like you start with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 6 provinces, and obviously you get Neumark for free, but basically in 10 years you've gone from 6 to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, like doubled your size. You have no coalitions, no aggressive expansion. It's just like your tech is, I mean, you can't really do much with tech in the beginning. That's luck, but it's just, this is a pretty decent start. I can call Saxony in for battles. Poland's going to have another favor pretty soon, and I'll be able to just do whatever I want to do. The mid game gets a little tricky because if I lose the religious war, and I don't get that idea, so to speak, or that achievement in the age of absolutism, then I kind of tend to quit because I'm a perfectionist. But yeah, so we'll see how that goes. It's going to take a while. Yeah, it's going to take a few years for Pomerania to get to a better place. But I've got EU improving relations. 23 prestige isn't bad for 10 years. Yeah, just should be training you, and we're just gonna wait. I don't care about that. So yeah, I don't know how long. I don't know how to record audio and send this other stuff forward. I might put something in the description as far as how long this first part's gonna take. 65, so we got 10 years for you. But yeah, I think I'm probably gonna pause or stop the video now that we've kind of got all the strategy as far as the ideas of why I do it with what I do. I hope that was pretty clear as far as administrative is very important, obviously, because that's what moves your tech along. And if I can save on that by getting vassals and letting them core, and then use my diplomatic power to kind of get provinces later, and then save my administrative early for money, for tech advancement, and then just like supercharge that part of my tech tree early on. I just know that's such a huge advantage. And I hope that makes sense. There's different strategies. It's not like any of these is wrong. Like if I just went, diplomatic to start, and then like my aggressive expansion would go down more, I'd have more allies. Or if I just went, military to start, like quantity into diplomatic, into quality, and then just basically just went pure military for. I mean, that'd be pretty fun too. It's just. I just like it this way. It just makes sense to me. So, but anyway, I'm gonna play this for probably a couple years or a little while, and then, well, you know what? Maybe I'll just make it go a little faster, and then we'll see. Yeah, I'll be able to start annexing these guys in a little bit. Okay, so that's good. Ideally, I'd love it if I had... Oh, that's what I forgot to do. I need to get... Here's the other thing that I tend to do. I don't know if this is smart or stupid. I like to spawn the Renaissance in my thing earlier. I like to get the large city, so I bump up my capital, because eventually your capital for one of your later achievements has to be size 50, but if I can get it up to size 30, then I can embrace the Renaissance. And then I've got three pretty quick achievements that'll help me get more of this stuff, like the Justified Wars is good, Improved War Taxes is great, Transfer Subject, that's just making lots of cores or making lots of claims past your own borders. Getting those earlier is much, much better, so, whoopsies. Yeah, I do want to encourage development. So that's kind of what I do, and that puts me behind a little bit earlier, but I find it's just a much better thing. So we get up you. I'm to save the diplomatic because I'm going to be using that later, and it gets pretty expensive. So I need, all right, just a little bit more, and I'll be able to get that maxed out. Yeah, that should be good. And we're going to 59. Oh, I guess we've got some time. Yeah, so just gonna wait till 9. And this isn't like a game-ending thing. Like if I can't annex them fast enough and I can't get the Livonian Order as a vassal and get Teutonic Order as a vassal, that's not the end of the world. It's ideally it'd be nice to get both of them. Sometimes the timing just doesn't work out, though. And I might have been able to take one or two of these in the meantime, but this is going to be a big hit to AE. That's going to be a big hit to AE, although it's a little bit distant, so I would just rather sit and wait. Ooh. Pump you up. Pump you up. I get 2 events or whatever that raise this by 1. So that's going to go up to 10 eventually, and I might raise this up to 15, or yeah, 20 and 20 and 10, and that'll be 50 later on. So I don't care if how high this gets, but there we go. Now I just need to get rid of you, get that extra money coming in. How much are you going to cost? 117. That's not awful. Excellent. All right. Just wait a second. I'll put a little. I'll put a little message in later on when June. When we know how far this video is and where the interesting stuff starts to happen. Find their destiny, Brunswick. Although, who are you allied with? Nah, I can't do that. I was going to say I could get a... I could do a quick war to get some humiliate stuff going, but... How long are you going to take? Ugh. And everything. Although, what are you over? 65. So, here's the problem. This is expiring in 65. This is expiring in 65, both around the same time. If Denmark decides to go for Livonian Order, they may, sometimes they'll take these three, sometimes they'll take all of it at once. Just depends on if they take Riga too. It depends on if they're in another war. If you can't get Livonian Order, you can't release any of their provinces later on. It's either them or Riga has to form Kurland, and Kurland's a pretty decent vassal. So we'll just have to see how that goes. That's one of the reasons why I should have done, if I had gotten Königsberg, then I could have formed a claim and attacked them earlier, because, you know, well, I guess they have Teutonic Order as an ally, but wait a minute, I might be able to 67 plus 50, they might be like 1% over. I might be able to vassalize them at the same time, but we'll just have to see. Even if I'm in a war with both of them and then Denmark attacks them, and at least if I get a few of their provinces, Denmark might take a few of them and then I can vassalize. We'll just have to see. Always get the manpower. Who cares about taxes? Well, I guess I do need taxes, but... And this is why influence is so important. Like, Pomerania is going to be, you know, there's, unless I got, even if I got influence first, you're not gonna, even if you get influence first, you're not gonna be able to annex them quickly, because you're not gonna be able to get the, I mean, like, I don't even have my first ability yet, and it's almost 20 years later. And sometimes that's, if I get a lot of, if I could do a show of strength earlier and then get that built up quick, it's one thing, but innovative. Okay. See, like, by the time I'd have to vassalize them, influence wouldn't help anyway, because I wouldn't have the tech necessary to get that diplomatic annexation cost down. Although it can be nice, as if my guy would have died and I would have gotten a uni with Ansbach, I could have gotten the whole acquire subjects and 15% off of the cost, which is pretty nice. Kill him. I don't care about the unrest. But I do want... so... Well, as long as I gotta have somebody, might as well go with you and get rid of that stuff. And there you are, justified wars. And then once I get improved taxes, then, like, being at war will just net me a lot more money just from being able to save. Okay. Clergy. Seek. Demand. Grant. Recruit. Demand. Ask. Collegiate. Did I give? I didn't. Nobility, get you. Ah, perfect. Military. You get one. Nice. And you guys. Oh, perfect timing. That's good. I like to get men-at-arms just because I find it's a lot harder. Like attacking, there's usually a disadvantage. So I like to try and attack enemies that are sieging down something. So the men-at-arms just have the, I mean, it's all pretty crappy right now, but they've got the better defensive stats, so I just get them early. Gives me more control over the terrain to be able to defend earlier. And you are October, and you are April. Ugh, I'm probably going to miss that. Stop training. You have not gone to war yet. Well, this video is up to 30 minutes, so I'm probably going to pause this and make a new one. Okay, so we are integrated. We're moving these guys up here, and we'll see how that goes. But yeah, no, I don't think I should make a longer video than 30 minutes. I think the last one was close to 40. And if anyone actually watches it, I'll probably kill them. So we'll pause this, and then in the next video, we're going to we're going to we'll vassalize these guys for sure. And then we're going to see if I can vassalize Livonian Order, period. We'll see how that goes, but if I become popular, maybe I'll develop a catchphrase, but until then, we'll just see you guys later.